Hey guys, today is Audi story time. So in the last video I talked a little bit about what my plans were for the channel, maybe some ideas I had for the channel, but I also talked about how the car I drive is an Audi and how Audis have a tendency to have problems and break down and be a pain in the ass. So sure enough, not even a week after I made that video, the Audi took a crap. Sort of. I'll start it off back in March when we purchased this car. My dad was driving it, took it on a little road trip up north, just about an hour drive or so. And on the way back, he noticed a power steering leak, or that he was losing a lot of power steering fluid in the reservoir. So he stopped, or pulled over, filled it up, and continued going. And by the time he got home, it was empty again. So it was a pretty bad power steering leak, but we could not tell where it was coming from. So we had a family friend, or have a family friend, that has a little shop out in the country, and a very nice shop with a bunch of tools and a lift, and just a very awesome shop to do whatever you want in. So they went and took it apart, and they had the whole front end apart. They had the headlight out. Here's a view. This is just a light of. Here's the Audi engine bay. And they had, this is where it's focused here on this side of the car, but they had the headlight out, the coolant reservoir out, there's these weird brackets. This is the ABS booster, and these are all brake lines. They had all this stuff pulled out. Here's the power steering reservoir, and they had all this stuff pulled out to try and figure out where it was. And eventually, they figured it out that the power steering leak was coming from that hose right down there. You see that where that copper fitting is? Copper colored. So and they also figured out that this line that runs down in there, see it right there, it starts and ends in a really, really stupid place. So it starts way down, goes down, just straight down behind the fog light, tucked away in no man's land, and the other end of it goes down back behind the engine and follows the catalytic converter, and it follows the headers and the catalytic converter straight down towards where the power steering rack would be. So replacing it was kind of like, oh, that'd be a big huge deal, and you literally have to drop the motor out to replace the frickin' line. So they're like, alright, we're going to try and patch it. So what they did was they cut out the bad section of the line, which I showed you before, right here, that copper colored one, or gold colored one. And so they cut out the bad line and just put a hose clamp on it and patched it with a new line. That worked good for a couple months until it started leaking in the same spot again. I started it up one day, not even after beating on it or beating the crap out of it or anything. We started it up and I heard a really weird noise. I get out and open up the power steering reservoir, and sure enough, the thing's almost bone dry. So I look down, you can see it pissing out from right where that connection was. So I was like, oh geez, what are we gonna do now? So I was right by my work, and I work at a Chevy dealership, and so I just left it there overnight. I was like, we'll deal with it tomorrow. It was after work at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, so couldn't see anything. We'll deal with it later. So my dad and I come back the next day, and we take it apart. We had the headlight out again, and we were able to cut the hose in two places and just get another patch of hose put in there to be able to get it to our buddy's house again, to be able to actually fix it right this time, or so we thought. So we got it on there, drove it to our buddy's house, and he again went at it, and what we figured out, the reason why it failed was to use the wrong type of hose. That line is the pressure line, and it's a hot pressure line for the power steering. So it's very hot and it's under a lot of pressure. It's a high pressure power steering line. So they found a hose that was a very durable, thick one that you could see
from where that clamp is. It's hard to tell in the video, but it's a very thick hose, very durable. And so he was able to find the bottom, where the hose ends down here, and started it there and brought it back up to patch it where it is right there. So got that patched. That worked. Let's see. $5 months. That worked awesome for 5 months. But then, just the other day, I was after work again, and I started it up, and it made, I remembered the noise, because it's just like a whining, like it's unhappy, and you can just tell something's wrong. But it was much more subtle and faint, and I was like, alright, well, it could be it was like -5 degrees outside with a 15-degree wind chill. So I was like, okay, it could be just cold car sounds, because this thing makes all sorts of lovely noises when it's really cold outside. So I let it go and took the 10-minute drive home and popped the hood, and sure enough, I stick my finger underneath that fitting, and it was wet. It was damp. I was like, oh, great, not again. So the third time we're having to fix this stupid power steering hose. So last night I took it all apart and dove in, and I had to take the coolant reservoir off, which comes off right here. You unbolt this bolt, which is holding it. There's a bracket right there, and it just slides off, meets in back there and back there. Took this hose off with this clamp right there. This was sitting over here, just propped up sideways with this hose off, so that no coolant came out. It's just sitting propped up there. I had to take these off, and which is oh, that's hard to see. There's a bolt right there, that silver one, and another one down there, and they just came off with the clips right on the end there. Fortunately, one busted because this thing is, 13 years old now. But I had those off because you cannot get your hand in there to get at that hose because it's so close to the head. But removing that red plastic helped get it out of the way. So all I did was cut the end off the hose and just look at it, and sure enough, there was a little bit of rip in the end. And that was our problem before, was that the hose clamp kept cutting through the hose. And we couldn't figure out why, so I was like, alright, I'm going to go out and look for a hose clamp that has a little rubber insert in it so it's not going to wear right through the hose. So I went to AutoZone, I went to Menards, and I went to the local hardware store, and nobody had a hose clamp with a little rubber insert. So what I did was just take a piece of scrap hose, cut it, and stick it underneath the hose clamp so that the hose, you can see it's gray right there. Stuck it underneath the hose clamp so that the hose clamp is not right up against the hose. Tightened it all back up, and after a little bit of repositioning, I got it to where I think it's not leaking. It's really hard to tell because if it's leaking, it's just a little tiny bit and it's not noticeable, checking the dipstick on the reservoir or anything. So I think I got it to the point where it's not leaking, but this is just, I'm guessing this is going to become a video series of, it's called like Audi braking or something like that, because they can be, yes, there's a reason why they're known for breaking down. So this, I figured I'd share with you guys just part one of the Audi braking. It's power steering problems. I really want to be able to do this the right way and just replace the whole freaking hose. But I gotta figure out how to do it and do some research. And I have a teacher at my automotive school that'll help me out and take a look at it and see if it's something we'll be able to do in class or not. Because it literally might require dropping the engine so that you can get your hand down back in there to get it out. So we will have to see what is going to happen.
It's a pain in the butt, and it's all because Audi has, like, yeah, let's make a sports car, and they took their biggest freaking engine and put it in their smallest car. So, creates for room issues and makes it hard to work on, but you gotta love it when it works, right? So yeah, hopefully we'll get that taken care of and be able to make it 100% again and not have to worry about it, and continue with some fun mods, let's call them. Still working on the exhaust, still looking around for a place. They're comparing mufflers and see which one I think will sound best. But yeah, that video, hopefully the exhaust will get done in the next week or two. I'll be uploading that video. But yeah, Broken Audi Part 1. Here it is. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you think I'm stupid for fixing it this way, let me know. But it's what I could do, and I have no means of dropping out the engine to freaking get at that power steering hose. So it was kind of a cheap fix for now, but it's what's going to have to work until I can get into an actual shop where I'll have the tools to be able to drop the engine and hold it and be able to get at the actual line. And it's weird too, because it's a soft line from behind the fog light up, and then it turns into a hard line back by where the second set of catalytic converters are. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, leave them down below. Yeah, hopefully won't be making too many of these Audi problem videos, but it's an Audi. It's kind of inevitable. We'll see. But yeah, I hope to be able to have some fun with this soon, though, and do some more exciting mods. Thank you guys for watching. Like it, subscribe it, and have a good day. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please like it. Oh, shit. Thank you all for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, let me know in the description. Oh, fuck, it sounds so good.